Okay, so as I said, this is going to be a little bit different for some of you because I want to really explore where I think the profession may be going, or one of the directions that some people in the profession may be going. For those of you that where we've not met before, I'm Phil. I've been working with financial advisors for a very long time. Started in 1978. I'm the founder of Life Talk. I know one or two of you on this call today are members of Life Talk. Really appreciate you coming along with me there. Life Talk is the world's longest running online community for financial advisors. It's coming up about 20 years that it's been around in one shape or form. I'm also the founder of the newest online community for financial advisors as well, the Advisor Growth Community. Really pleased that that's really getting some traction. Everybody on this call today can get a week's free trial of that so you can get a sense of what it's like. And it's much more about business development, personal development, quite a bit on AI, quite a bit on marketing as well. So less technical, which is for those of you that are in the Life Talk group, you'll notice there's a lot of technical questions. This is much more about growing your business. And I've also just launched in the last couple of days I think one of its kind. It's a marketing app. It's the content is only about marketing and lead generation for financial advisors. It's free. I'll send you a link to that afterwards. So where I'm coming from is this is a bit of a hobby horse of mine. And I think Damien, you're on the call today. You'll recognise what's on the right hand side there. My little hobby horse is that I think the financial advice profession is missing a trick. Typically, financial advice, financial planning is done between consenting adults in your office, in their home, and broadly speaking, the process is exactly the same and hasn't changed much in all the time that I've been working with financial advisors. Yes, we have more professionalism. Yes, we have more regulation. Yes, we have some more exciting tools that can make the experience for clients much more meaningful, cash flow modeling, and so forth. But I think that a lot of people would like access to your expertise, your credibility, your authority, without having to come to see you, or without you going to see them, or without doing it online, but to get access to your expertise in other ways. And I thought for many, many years that financial advisors could take the expertise that they've built up over the years and sell it to consumers in other formats. And the most obvious format here is a book. Damien's book, who literally has just come out, Financial Planning and Divorce. You know, there's going to be a load of people who will buy that book. No question about it at all. It's a simple book. It's straightforward. It's packed with absolutely great content. So congratulations to Damon for producing that. Literally published in the last few days. Gretchen Betts, some of you will know, multi-award winning financial planner. She's produced her own book, the She Finance Workbook. So, yes, there's information about personal finances and so on and so forth, but it's also a workbook as well, so people can go through it at their own pace. And I think what we're looking at here is the future for many advisors, taking the expertise they've got and literally selling it in other formats. It could be a course, it could be a book, it could be a workbook, it could be a webinar, it could be a seminar. There's all sorts of different ways that you can monetize your expertise as a financial advisor. Take some thinking about, but enough people are doing it now that we've got plenty of best practice. And I have to say, in the United States, if you're a financial planner and you haven't written a book, it's one of the boxes that a lot of consumers want ticking if they're even going to consider working with you. But it is great to see more advisors in the UK writing books now. I run a book writing course for advisors. Drop me a line if you'd like to look at when the next one is due. So I think this is the trick we're missing, but I also think it's the opportunity, if we think about it really carefully, that can really do some very exciting things for our businesses. Let's start in quite a disappointing area, but nevertheless, we keep seeing all of this kind of stuff in our industry papers. We see it in the Sunday personal finance pages. Brits unsatisfied with retirement savings, yet they shy away from advice. Now, there may be all sorts of different reasons as to why this happens. Despite widespread dissatisfaction with their savings, only 1 in 10 adults have sought professional advice. Now, I think there's a variety of reasons for that. And I think the main reason is as a profession, we've made a pretty pig's ear of how we promote the value that we provide. And the financial planning profession does provide enormous value, but we're just not very good at getting it across as to why people. Now, as financial planners, you're not necessarily going to want everybody who turns up on your doorstep wanting advice or planning, but the simple fact of the matter is, as Brits, we're just not in enough numbers seeking advice that we know is needed by many, many people. Now, what I'm going to show you today is a way or a couple of ways of actually attracting more people. Yes, we could call it the advice gap if we want to call it. I don't think giving it a label helps particularly. But I'm going to show you a way that we can take the expertise that we have got and provide it to many, many more people in a really attractive way that's actually quite easy for us to do in a way that's scalable. And now that we've got AI, there's all sorts of exciting things that we can do. The numbers also speak for themselves as well, going beyond the headlines. Numbers of people seeking financial advice, 2000, so only 6%, 22, 8%. The opportunity is absolutely massive. Yes, we haven't got enough advisors. And this is your choice. It's not to say that this is a bad thing, focusing on high net worth. If that's your business model, that's your business model. Um, and we're also seeing many advisors reluctant to offer one-off advice. I see this quite a lot in our Life Talk group now, where members say, "Oh, I've just had an inquiry," which isn't really something I would normally do. Somebody wants help with this, that, and the other. Would anybody like the opportunity? So there's lots of reasons why, as a profession, we're not reaching people who need our advice and our guidance. But let's go a bit further and look at some of the things that we could do. And even people who you might think would naturally turn to a financial planner aren't necessarily doing so. Alan Smith, many of you will know, posted this relatively recently about what's this gentleman's name? Sean Wallace, qualified barrister. He's one mastermind. Really hasn't got much time for equities and shares. And Alan sums this up by saying, it seems we've still got plenty of work to do. You've probably seen these interviews in the Sunday papers. Do you invest in shares? Absolutely not. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. I suppose it's my working class upbringing. I'd rather invest in bricks and mortar than shares, which can fluctuate. And I suspect that he is one of many, many people like that. It doesn't really matter what your socioeconomic background is. There are a lot of people who have just not bought into the work that financial advisors and financial planners do. So we need to sort of unpick that a little bit. Now, we have AI with us now. I'm still meeting financial advisors who say, "I'm not paying much attention to AI. I will when it arrives in a couple of years' time." I mean, where they get that idea that it's arriving in a couple of years' time from, I really don't know. There seem to be five different scenarios emerging as a result of the arrival of AI. First of all, no change or little change. We just see AI as another piece of tech. We can do things faster. Another scenario, and these are scenarios, doesn't mean that it's going to happen, that will end up with no more financial advisors. My son is doing his master's degree in AI in business. And one of the first things they are looking at in a lot of detail is the degree to which certain occupations will disappear or indeed be transformed. There is also the school of thought that they will end up with more financial advisors doing more complex stuff, but able to do more work much faster. I'm also really excited, this is what we're talking about today, the idea that AI is going to help us to create new business models at scale, very low cost, and very, very quickly, and reach far more people, which I think is really very, very feasible indeed. But I also think we're going to see the role of financial advisors changing. A lot of advisors don't thank me for this, but I'm going to put my neck out and say that I think we're going to start seeing financial planners having one foot in the world of financial planning and one foot in the world of life coaching. And I know a lot don't like that concept, but that's the simple fact of the matter. More and more financial planners now are realizing that lifestyle financial planning is about looking at the person, their goals, their dreams, what they regret not having done, which they might still be able to do. So, financial planners, yes, we'll be talking about financial architecture to make these things happen, but there'll be much more along the lines of a personal coach. And we are starting to see more advisors now overtly promoting themselves as coaches. And coach to one person means one thing, and coach to another person means something else. It doesn't really matter, but we're looking much more at how we look after people than necessarily just their money. So these are the two I'm looking at: new business models at scale and how the role of the advisor can actually change. So if people aren't going to financial advisors, where are they going? Well, guess where? They can go to any of these places. I normally I wouldn't have necessarily put LinkedIn on this list, but it is amazing how many financial planners now are putting educational content onto LinkedIn, which is great. They're sharing their expertise, they're raising their profile, they're getting more profile visits, and yes, one or two are actually attracting clients through LinkedIn. Personally, I think LinkedIn is a powerhouse of opportunity for financial advisors. Frankly, that content that you put on LinkedIn is great, but really put it in a book, for goodness sake. That content on LinkedIn will be around for about 2 or 3 weeks. You've probably noticed recently that that content on LinkedIn seems to be hanging around a bit longer. They have changed the algorithm a bit more. And this happens particularly in January, and I'll explain why this is relevant in a minute or two. In January, financial advisors go mad on LinkedIn. They're constantly posting content, and we know why. January renewal, New Year's resolution, new goals. It's a good place to put your content if you're a financial planner. But personally, I'd say, yeah, put it on LinkedIn, but put it in a book as well, which has got a much, much longer shelf life. Yes, you can go onto YouTube and you can type in financial planning, personal finance, and you will go down years worth of rabbit holes looking at free content, as you'll find on TikTok, as you'll find on Instagram. Whether we like it or not, that's where people are posting content, and whether we like it or not, consumers are consuming that personal finance content over on those platforms. And yes, as a profession, we have concerns about regulation, finfluencers, and so on and so forth. But whether we like it or not, that's where a lot of people are going to get their information on personal finance. However, there are other places where people are willing to pay for information on personal finance. And you might be thinking, well, why would someone pay for information on personal finance when you can get it free? Um, it's perception of value. It's as simple as that. Yes, I can pick a topic, go on to YouTube, and I can learn all I want about that particular personal finance topic. But frankly, I would rather pay something if I know that the producer of that content is a highly qualified uh, expert on that particular topic. That's you guys and girls. If you go onto Udemy, which is a website for courses, there are courses on literally everything: how to change the oil on your car, how to put a new roof on your house, how to plan your pension. There are courses on Udemy which you pay for. My last count, there were 126 different courses on pensions, almost 4,000 on investments, over 6,000 on investment planning, and once they get above 10,000, they stop counting. So Udemy is jam packed full of courses on topics that you have expertise on. And yes, it's a global site, so it's not all just there's a lot around the world, particularly from the United States. Specifically, let's just have a look at some of these. Some of them sell really, really well. Some of them just getting started. So here's just a few screenshots of some courses. Let's look at that top one there, the complete personal finance course: Save, Protect, Make More. Um, Protect by an award-winning MBA professor. Why is an MBA professor doing this when a financial planner could be doing this? They're charging anything between 15 quid and 60 quid. And by my estimate, this gentleman has earned 165,000 quid. Create the course once, sell it multiple times. But what I'm really interested in is look at the star ratings. Almost across the board, 5-star ratings from 11,000 people. So Udemy gives your course real high visibility. Another one here: financial planning for families. Only 22 reviews there, but that's 22 almost 5-star reviews. Pay off debt. personal finance, 400 people, and you can see the typical price levels that there are that are going. Now, these courses that you're looking at here were all created before we had AI. So people have had to put the thing together, do their PowerPoint, sit in front of a camera, do their thing. So it takes a little bit of time, but I'll take 165,000 quid from a course that I had to create once. Um, Anytime, thank you very much. What about some more? Personal Finance Masterclass, Easy Guide to Better Finances. 3,500 people have given it over 4-star ratings. He's brought in, or she's brought in, over £52,000 from that. The next one, Investing in Stocks, the complete course, over 500,000 in revenue from that one. Look at that, 45,000 people have been through that course, or a minimum of 45,000 people, and left it really good reviews. Investing for Beginners, the complete course, Gain Confidence, cryptocurrency, blah, blah, blah. So you can see that there are people who've expertise in these areas are selling that expertise in a variety of new ways. Now, for some people, I've not looked into all the names here. They may well have other businesses as well, and you could argue that these are just a side hustle from these particular people. If I go onto YouTube, this particular one is free. Personal Finance: How to Save, Spend, and Think Rationally About Money. 2.7 million views. Now, that person who produced that one, they'll be earning a bit of revenue from YouTube. But that course there, clearly very, very popular. It could be put on Udemy and it could make a lot more money than it actually already is. Now, there's a variety of different ways to do this. And the most popular way to do this right now is to wrap your course within some sort of online community. The fact that you are on this call today is proof that my community, Life Talk, has attracted some of you to it. I've promoted this on LinkedIn as well, but mostly on Life Talk. So I've got the community for financial advisors, and I've put on this call today for financial advisors. So there's a variety of different ways of doing it. Chargeable video or audio based financial education courses on Udemy, wherever you want to put them, on your website for that matter. Subscription-based personal finance community, so people pay to join your online community, and there are maybe free courses inside. You could do a subscription-based community for retirees, subscription-based financial coaching, or you could even have a subscription newsletter. Now, subscription newsletters are the really big thing right now. There's all sorts of platforms that help you to do this. So if you send an email newsletter to your clients, whether you do it once a week, once a month, once every 6 months, I would urge you to start thinking about creating one that people pay for as well. And you will be amazed just how many people will be prepared to pay for your expertise in bite-sized chunks every week, every month, wherever. Anybody who wants some information on chargeable newsletters, just drop me a line and I'll send you a couple of links that you'll find useful. Other ways of selling your expertise are perhaps through corporate financial wellness programs. Some of you may already work with corporate clients, business owners, but quite often a lot of these businesses will pay for a financial planner to come in once a month to talk to their staff about financial issues. Public financial wellness seminars, so that's just basically going straight out to the public, perhaps in a hotel or something like that, and putting on an open seminar. I know a financial planner in the United States who started putting on seminars to attract new people. I mean, seminars and public workshops are the single most effective form of marketing for financial advisors. And I can convince anyone of that. Yes, you may be thinking, what about referrals? In actual fact, seminars work much, much better. You just follow a process. This guy in the United States, he used to put on seminars to attract new clients. They did quite well. Then he thought, I wonder if I could charge for this. and he started charging for his seminars. It had no impact on attendance levels. If anything, attendance levels went up and higher quality people came along. And then a couple of years after starting this, he began to think, I wonder if I could do this on a much bigger scale. And what he now does is put on weekend wealth symposia, as he calls it. And he does one of these every quarter. And the price of tickets is $12,500 a head. And he has a waiting list of a good 3 months for each one. So taking your expertise and selling it to other people in other formats is a great way for people to increase their income stream, create new income streams, and give them other options for what they already do. So books and courses as well also can lead to public speaking. So that's just a couple of ways that we could do it. We can look at some actual examples. To set up an online community, there's a variety of places where you can do it. You ideally want a platform where there is no algorithm telling members what to see. So our Facebook group for financial advisors has an algorithm. LinkedIn has an algorithm. Every member of our Facebook group on LinkedIn sees on Facebook sees something different. I can put some content into our Facebook group, thinking that all 5,500 members will see it, and that simply doesn't happen. The algorithm decides what you see. So if you're going to create a community for your clients or for prospects or for anyone else for that matter, you ideally want a platform where there is no algorithm telling people what to see. You want a forum. You want to be able to categorize them by topics. You want to have a classroom area for your courses, if that's what you're going to do. A calendar so that members can see what's coming up. It's nice to have a member list so people can see who the other members are, and ideally a map. In our advisor growth community, there is a map so all members can actually see who is physically nearby and arrange impromptu networking events or meetups together or have a quick coffee. You want to have private messaging, and in an ideal world, you want a little bit of gamification, which just encourages people to post and to interact and engage. The platforms that typically you can use to do this are Facebook groups. Our Facebook group started 18 years ago. If I was doing it again now, I wouldn't use Facebook for some of the reasons I've just outlined, usually because of the algorithm. You could use a LinkedIn group as well. Mighty Networks is the gold standard for online communities. Perhaps you want to create your own app. Our new marketing hub for advisors is using the Mighty Networks platform. School is the new kid on the block, which is where we host our advisor growth community. Absolutely fantastic. No algorithm. Dip in and out as and when you see fit. An absolutely fantastic platform. Then there are all sorts of other community platforms you could use, Circle, Passion. You could even just use a WhatsApp group. Personally, I don't really like WhatsApp groups. They're just a riot of noise, but there's no reason why you couldn't do that. I know one or two financial planners who do actually have a WhatsApp group for their clients. As I said, they tend to be a little bit noisy, but if you are interested in bringing your clients together in some sort of way, a WhatsApp group is a way of doing that. That's one of the reasons why many financial planners put on seminars for their existing clients, because they've all got something in common. They're all clients of that particular financial planner, and for them to be able to meet and say hello and talk about life and the universe is a very powerful a very powerful thing to do. Or you could build your own. There's all sorts of software tools that you could do that. You can get AI to build your own online community for you. But these are the main ones that tend to get used if you're building your own community. So let's have a look at a couple of communities. This is Roger Whitney from Mansfield, Texas. He is known as the Retirement Answer Man. That's his branding. He's the man you go to if you've got questions about retirement. And he has built, in addition to his main financial planning business, he has built an online community called the Rock Retirement Club. Don't know what's quite happened there. The Rock Retirement Club. And it is an online community to help you build confidence to rock your retirement. And this is just some of the promotional content that he uses, just so you can get a sense of how he's positioning this. You need the tools, education, and support to succeed in retirement. Drawing from over 25 years' experience helping people plan for and transition into retirement, my team and I will teach you how to create a compelling vision for your retirement, develop your personal retirement plan, discover what you can afford to do, allocate your assets, create your retirement paycheck, make decisions, identify risks. So, kind of all the stuff that most financial planners do anyway. And I find this a really interesting thing. A lot of people, one of the reasons many people don't go to financial planners in the UK is because I think financial planning is one of those concepts that you need to experience it before you actually get it. That's why seminars work so well, because people can get a sense of what you do. They can listen to case studies. That's why seminars work, okay? And quite often, or very often, a lot of financial planners simply don't bother to, for want of a better phrase, list out what they do. And if you look at that list there on that screen, you do all of those things in your own way. You may call these things different, give them different titles, but you do all this stuff. But on the outside of his online community, the Rock Retirement Club, he lists out things that most consumers will want to get answers to at some particular point. He's got a little video on the outside, everything you need to rock retirement all in one place. He's got his own podcast as well, and he's saying your retirement isn't just a math problem, it's about making the most of the only life you have. So, and he promotes this in a variety of different ways, and I'll show you one of the ways a little bit later. Um, and again, just some of the things that are inside it, access to tools. I know a couple of financial planners who have online communities that have created their own sort of cash flow modeling tool, a sort of light version that people can use within their online community. So there's a private clubhouse, there's activities, access to the team, access to tools, and so on and so forth. Roger also publishes some stats about the membership of his community. So these are from 2024. 67% are male, 33% female, 86% married. Uh, Baby boomers, Gen X, and how the split is there. Average age 62. Average planned retirement age around 61. And retirement status. So 48% of his membership are actually retired. 15% are going to retire this year, retire next year, retire in 2 to 5 years. So this isn't just for people who are retired. There are actually quite a lot of people who are about to retire. So that's quite useful to know the sort of likelihood of what you might get if you wanted to start your own community. Bit of information about their finances. So he does regular surveys as well. And he's published people's net worth there as well, less than 1 million and right up to over $5 million. Projected retirement spending, and again, you can see how that's split. But only half have a pension. Just over a quarter have actually got a financial advisor. Well, by joining Roger's community, they're kind of getting a financial advisor by default. Which is an interesting way of doing it. Again, you might be thinking, if people have already got a financial advisor, why would they want to join my community? What this is showing is that there are plenty of people who haven't got a financial advisor who've joined his community, but a quarter of them actually have. And what's it going to cost us? $800 a year. Now, let's just think about that. Let's just go back to some of these numbers here. If we look at where they are, look at their sort of spending levels, look at their net worth, they've actually seen enough on the promotion for the community. Spending $800 is really going to be a drop in the ocean for the value that you're going to get from this. Also notice that he has a waiting list. Joining the waitlist list does not obligate you to enroll. Help our newest members make the most We onboard new cohorts during open enrollment periods. I mean, again, that just makes it more appealing to people. If I have to wait to join this, this is saying to me, well, there's already people in here, and this is clearly something of value to them. So that's how he does it. So what does he talk about in the group? One of the key things about creating a community that people want to keep revisiting is to have monthly themes. So these are Roger's monthly themes that we've got. So vision for retirement, navigating uncertainty, taxes, healthcare, business planning, early retirement, and so on and so forth. So they have monthly themes, but they also have a weekly calendar which is made up of posts, it is made up of live streams, webinars, and so on and so forth. Now, you don't have to follow this particular model. There are a variety of different models, but this is kind of how Roger does it in his. And how much money is he making? Last time he published the membership level, he had 1,268 members, each paying $800. I'll take $1 million. Thank you very much indeed. So he's doing it on an annual basis. Most people tend to do it on a monthly recurring revenue basis. For financial planners thinking about their exit strategy, being able to show a potential buyer or potential partner what your monthly recurring revenue is, that is very, very appealing to them if you've got monthly recurring revenue. Let's look at another one. Wealth Without Wall Street. Again, a couple of financial planners. It's built around a community. It's all about focusing on financial freedom outside the stock market. 8,500 members. He's aiming for 10. He started on Facebook and then moved to Mighty Networks. Remember, I said Mighty Networks is the gold standard of online communities. And he's played around with the revenue model. So there are a variety of different ways that you can do this. You could perhaps have a free community with chargeable courses or chargeable content inside, or you could have a chargeable community with free content, or you could have a chargeable community with chargeable content. There's a variety of different ways of figuring out the right way to do this. And it will usually come with a certain amount of experimentation. So he's got courses, Q&As, expert guest sessions. There's the app. So Mighty Networks literally gives you your own app. And they have a sort of big picture, big purpose. We're the guides, members are the heroes. And just give you a sense of what their site looks like. Change the direction of your future with certainty. Start trading money for time. Focus on the important things like spending time with your family guilt-free today. So lots of good stuff on the outside designed to attract people in, and they show you some imagery of what it looks like inside the community. Loads and loads of content. So my new marketing app is built on this exact same platform. Courses built in. Offering over a dozen courses, our platform is optimized to help you dive right into building your knowledge. So this is all about education. And as I said, people do want to be better informed on personal finances. So they go to platforms like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn to educate themselves. But if there's a place where they could get education in a nice, handy format and consider paying for it because that suggests that a real expert who is properly qualified to create this content, that has real appeal to people. And you can see how many people have joined Roger's community. Does this work in the UK? Now, although it's been my hobby horse for many, many years that advisors ought to be thinking about creating new income streams from their expertise, I've often wondered, could this actually work in the UK environment? Well, you bet it does. Some of you may know Jessamy, Brown Dog Financial Planning, financial planner, like many of you. But what she's also doing is offering courses and a community as well. And you can see on her LinkedIn link here, join my investor challenge. So she's got a 28-day challenge. Some of you may know Catherine Morgan. She's the queen of online challenges in the personal finance space as well. Check her out. So Jessamy's got a 28-day challenge. Why am I so passionate about making investment accessible? And she tells her story on the website as well. When you enroll, you don't just get this incredible curriculum, you get a strategy session with her, lifetime access to the Bare Naked Money Facebook community, and a course as well. And she is playing around with this as well. Some of you may know Boost Financial Planning. Josh Button runs that. Now, he's a regular financial planning firm. They've got great branding, absolutely fantastic branding. But one of the parts of his proposition is that he's created a community tool for his clients to share their favorite trips and experiences with each other, which I think is a really clever idea. Create a place just for your existing clients where they can share some aspect of their lifestyle. So again, they've all got something in common, and I think that's a really smart idea. One little marketing idea, which I'm starting to see a few advisors use, is to create a community around your brand where once a month you take your clients for a walk. How simple is that? Part of the proposition on the website. So once a month, we have a local walk. We meet outside our office or wherever you want to meet, and we go for an hour-long walk. And they occasionally do it at weekends where they go for something a little bit longer. It brings your clients together. They've all got something in common. They're not going to be talking about personal finance. You, as the financial planner, aren't going to be talking about personal finance. This is just a way to build community around your brand. And I think this is increasingly going to be more and more popular. So, what about the daddy of all this? Most of you will know Pete Matthew, Meaningful Money. First started his podcast about, what was it, 12, 15 years ago, something like that. Pete's firm, Jackson's Financial Planning, are a regular firm of financial planners down in Cornwall. That's what they do. But Pete has always had this passion for education. And he never started it to attract clients. He started it because he loved sharing his expertise. And if you go to his YouTube channel and go right back to the very start, by his own admission, you will see him doing some very dodgy videos where he's walking down a country lane or standing on a beach in Cornwall or in a pub garden, and he's balanced his camera on a fence. And all he does is say, "Hi, my name is Pete. I'm just here to make sense of some of the jargon we use in this profession. Today we're going to talk about income protection insurance. This is what it is. This is how it works. This is who it's for. No financial advice, no financial promotion, just pure education. Nothing more." However, his podcasts and his education has built and grown over the years. And he now has his Meaningful Academy. So much free information here. It can seem a little intimidating. That's why I created a learning center to help you find what you need. And there's also a Facebook group as well, which he uses, which is really, it is one of the top personal finance Facebook groups in the UK. And inside, he's got some guides and he's got 3 courses: Financial Foundation, Build Wealth, and Retirement Planning. It was a logical next step thing for him to do. This is what he said recently in our advisor growth community. "Happy to share my experiences. My academy brings in around 15 to 20 grand a month." And there you have more proof that people will pay money to watch a video or listen to a podcast or read a newsletter. Simple as that. Yes, you've got to put in a little bit of effort to put it together. But, I think most of us would take 15 to 20 grand a month from the expertise that we already have in our heads, turned into something in a different format that people will be prepared to buy. Just like Damien's book, people will buy a book on personal finance around divorce. And then from his academy, Pete's book came out, and I think he's now got his second book out as well. This is how it's done. So the benefits of this particular model: it enables you to reach new markets where you do not have to give face-to-face financial advice along the lines of the model that you do right now. You will be able to reach people who you wouldn't necessarily take on for all sorts of different reasons, but you can reach that market and create an income from it. Or you can add value to your current market by creating a community. New revenue streams, predictable cash flow, which I think everybody likes. It's a way to nurture future clients. So Pete has got people who have joined his Facebook group, who have bought his book, who have bought his one of his courses, and in due course have gone on to become a normal financial planning client. You can see a clear route for some people. Gives you great visibility, gives you great authority. It differentiates you from all the other financial planners and financial advisors out there. You can build serious scale with this particular model without an increase in cost. Great for consumer duty in terms of education, and it gives you fantastic data, which you can use in a variety of different ways in your business. It's worth stressing again the monthly recurring revenue model um, just works. Predictable income, predictable, smoother cash flow, grow and scale without doing any extra work. Um, and it also has the potential to increase your business. I think I mentioned that earlier. And it gives you some flexibility in your offering. Now, the financial advisors that I'm working on this, they are looking at this kind of model as a kind of add on to what they already do. They're not ready to ditch their current financial planning model, but they can see that this gives them an extra string to their bow. If you take Pete, if you take Jessamy, they are financial planners first and foremost, but they are offering their expertise in other formats to reach different people. And in some respects, they started it out as just an experiment, just to see where this goes. It's really quite easy. You could do this, you could start this afternoon, literally. You could go to any of those platforms that I mentioned there. You could start a Facebook group. It'll be a work in progress, and you can invite your existing clients to it. It's that easy to start. But if you want it to have some legs and to create serious revenue for you, you want to follow a process as well. Now, online communities where you charge people for your expertise are really thriving globally. I mentioned school. School is where I host the advisor growth community. I just want to show you some of the top communities based around money on that platform. Most of these are US based. There's nothing there that you couldn't do yourself. Um, so look at this one, 1.7 thousand members, each member being charged $119 a month. You do the sums on that, it comes to a pretty decent sum of money. School of Mentors, the number one community in the world for entrepreneurs, and get mentored every week by the millionaires and billionaires, 6,000 members, each paying $49 a month. Another one here, 9,000 members, but they're doing that one for free. But I know for a fact that inside there are things that you can pay for. Again, you pay your money, you decide what model that you want to follow. But frankly, as soon as you start charging, the better. Here's some other ones as well. The business and grant community, 3,500 members, 37 a month each. Look at this one, Synthesizer for educational creators, get paid to change the world. 30,000 members free, but there's chargeable content inside. The Maker School, $184 a month, and they've got 2,500 members. The Credit Score Academy, 2,000 members, each paying $8 a month. And one more here, Trading for Women. We help women grow their income, confidence, and future, one trade at a time. 4,000 members, each paying $35 a month. So I hope you've got your calculators out here and you're doing the sums behind this. This model really, really works. And if you use the right platform, these platforms are designed to make it easy for you to do. I said, when I started Life Talk, there was basically, I could do it myself or we could use Facebook. And Facebook offered the bare minimum of functionality, and they still offer the bare minimum of functionality. And that's why I created the advisor growth community, because it's got a lot more functionality. It makes me much easier for me to actually set this thing up, and yes, to start monetizing it. Challenges worth looking at the other side. Some might argue there are some regulatory grey areas, but you're not giving financial advice. You're not doing financial promotions. This is all educational content. Pete's been doing educational content for what, 15 years now, and has not had a single problem with it at all. So yeah, it's going to take you some time and resource, but what's really interesting is once you've got the thing set up, it runs itself. If you have a team of colleagues, this is the sort of thing that you might like to introduce them to help you do it. Our Life Talk group on Facebook, 5,500 members. We've got in our LinkedIn group, we've got 7,500 members, but I barely do anything at all in it now. It just runs itself, or rather, the members run it. Every single day, financial advisors come in, they ask questions, they network, they share best practice, they comment on each other's posts. The members create the community. What I do and what you can do is just set the thing up. Yes, you're going to have to do some initial work to get the thing going, and then it takes over itself. You're going to need some thinking about pricing. As I said, there's different models that you can do, and some might be concerned about brand dilution. It's not been a problem for Pete Matthew. It's not been a problem for Jessamy. By brand dilution, I mean you seem to have another proposition that's running alongside, and some people say, "Oh, they're not financial planners anymore; they're now running courses." That's not really a problem, but it might be a concern for some people. We need to think about a promotion strategy. You need to have a big picture for your community. And it needs to be based around this phrase here. We bring together people who are whatever so that they can whatever. Insert people who are nearing retirement so that they can live a more fulfilled retirement. That tends to be the best way of creating this, and people will recognize themselves in that. People with something in common or going through some sort of transition work really, really well for online communities. A core promotional strategy is online content, and that online content can be regular webinars, it can be adverts, it can be posts on LinkedIn, it can be part of your weekly newsletter. It all starts with you promoting your community in a variety of high value ways. And I'll just give you one example right now. This might look a little bit complicated at first glance. So typically, the way you build these things is you create your service or you create your online community on the right. And to get people to join your community, you ideally want to put on a webinar. And the way to get people to watch the webinar is through Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, blogging, advertising. So people sign up for the webinar and you have a thank you page, which has got all the details and the joining details. But what a lot of people do is on that thank you page, this is your first opportunity to make a little bit of money, which can help fund the advertising. So what a lot of people do on the thank you page is say, hey, thanks for registering for our webinar. Hey, we've got a guide which will really help you which will complement the webinar. It's only $10, buy it now. And it's a simple e-guide, and that's typically the way that a lot of professional community people do this. So run ads to a webinar or promote the webinar in some way, shape, or form on the thank you page, sell them something, and then use that money to fund the ads. So you make no money on the sale, but you are able to fund your ads in quite a big way. And then people turn up to the webinar, onto the webinar where you give them high value and you also promote your proposition or your ongoing community. There's a different version of it, which is what I use, and I know some of you have already used it, is I've got the advisor growth community is the main proposition, is the main service. I do webinars like this one, but when you sign up for the webinar, the thank you page doesn't try and sell you something. It gives you a free trial of the advisor growth community. And each and every one of you on this call would have had an email from me that says, hey, you're registered for this webinar. Here's the joining details. While you're waiting for the webinar, you might like to have a free trial of the advisor growth community. And quite a few of you have signed up for that. So that's another model. Now, there's lots of different models to get people to join your community. Lots of different ones. So a good time to do this is January. So there's time for you to get your community started for January, and it's obviously why January is a good time for this. People are setting goals, they're thinking about their New Year's resolutions, their minds are focused after the holidays, and people are seeing all sorts of content on the internet talking about make this your best year yet. So if you want to start a community, January is a good time. May is a good time as well, and October is a good time. I don't say October because right now is October, but there are certain times a year when this really does work quite well. Um, I can help you with this. I've created multiple online communities for financial advisors over the years. I do a 3-month course or a one-to-one consultation on this, and the course, the 90-day community blueprint, will really show you how to get this thing set up, literally get it live and get it monetized as well. The first month, we look at the foundations, your focus, your goals for the community, what actual proposition that you want to offer people within your community, who's going to be in your community. Is it your existing clients? Is it the best of the best clients? Is it people that you just want to nurture who might become a client? There's all sorts of different models and different ways of providing some focus. Month two, we look at the structure of the community, what actual content goes in there, how we use the tools that are available to use, the importance of thinking about how are we going to monetize this. There may be some of you might think, actually, I don't really want to monetize this at all, other than just add value to my clients. How to come up with your monthly themes. You saw an example there from Roger. The different ways of marketing and promoting, and different ways of getting people to actually join it. And the third month, if you are serious about growing this and monetizing it, how to attract members, how to get conversations started. There's a ton of different ways to get conversations started in your community, and that is the key, is to have people actually doing stuff within your community as well. The more your members contribute to your community, the more value it is to them and to other members, but also to you. If you discover that in your online community, all people are talking about is inheritance tax planning, then that suggests to you maybe you should create some chargeable content around inheritance tax planning. So it gives you also ideas for where to move this forward as well. Building your longer term aims and longer term content as well. So that's the course. If any of you are interested in that, just let me know and I can show you how to use that. So we're about done. I really appreciate your time. If you've got any questions now, that will be fantastic. Jed's questioned one of the figures in there. I'll have to look at that. So thanks very much for everybody. If you've got any questions, just get in touch with me direct, philip@philipcalvert.com, or find me on LinkedIn or wherever you'd like to hang out online. And I'm more than happy to help you. So thanks a lot, everybody. Hope you found that useful, and see you again another time. Take care.